Hello, I'm going to walk through a few changes to the most recent update to local memory. Pushed out uh, version 1.1.9 last night. And one of the things that I'm really excited about is it brings the command line interface up to par with both the MCP server and the REST API. So when I first started working on local memory, it was really just to solve a problem of too many markdown files uh, in my projects. So when I first discovered markdown files, I loved it. Like most people, right? Like it gave you a way of storing what the agent was working on and gave you the opportunity to kind of interact with it so you can make changes to the markdown file. And it was great. But what I found is that it started creating way too many markdown files. And so when I would start a new task, it would try and load in all of the markdown files. It would try and load in the code base. It would load in documentation. And before I even started working on anything substantial, the context was at 30, 35, 40%, which is crazy. Like you almost can't get anything done with that type of setup. And I'm sure I'm not the only person because I know I'm not because I've talked to other people. So what I set out to do was just ask like, is there a better way? And so I built a kind of a rough prototype to instead of creating markdown files, I said, can it just store this content in a simple database? That was it. And so built that out and it worked wonders in that initial project, right? Like, so it cut down the number of markdown files from hundreds down to like one or two that actually needed, which was great. Um, and so that was it. And it wasn't a MCP protocol. It was literally just a series of scripts that helped the agent kind of interact with this database. And that was it. Then I discovered Model Context Protocol from Anthropic, and it was fantastic. And so I kind of tailored that initial prototype to be an MCP server. It's written in TypeScript, and it worked fantastic. Like I loved it. I was able to connect it to Claude, and it was able to discover the tooling, and it was able to store and retrieve memories kind of automatically and on demand if I would ask it to do something. Fantastic. But then I found that I also use other agents like OpenCode and Gemini. It don't support MCP all that well. Actually, OpenCode does not support MCP. Gemini sort of supports it, but it's kind of weird and quirky. So what I was able to do is one, build out a REST API. So now at this point, local memory has a REST API, and it's fantastic, right? So it's very easy to use. So you can essentially um, ask it um, retrieve this memory using the REST API. So it'll go out and it'll hit the REST API, pull it back. All right, GitHub issue 55. Fantastic. How you doing? Um, Now I could also do that here using the CLI using the git command. And it'll pull back the same thing. See, GitHub issue 55. Fantastic, right? So I was able to bring full parity across the REST API, MCP, and then with this latest release, now the CLI. So you're able to do quite a number of things um, with it. So I'm going to do help. And so you can see all the different commands. And, and so this brings it into full parity with the MCP and the REST, in addition to a lot of the maintenance commands that were already there. So to be able to start the service, to get the status. So we can do status. All right. So you can see that it's running. See that MCP is running. In addition, if you are using an agent that doesn't support MCP, so you can now use the REST API. You can use the CLI for automation, scripting, code execution. But you can also use the underlying protocol under MCP, which is JSON-RPC. So I can ask it, or it'll do this automatically if it can't connect to MCP. JSON-RPC. So it will run this command. Boom. Put it back. If you want to see, there it is. Jackpot. GitHub issue 55. Boom. It's there. Then I can ask it. So this is where the code execution comes in. So it will use a CLI. Boom. See it there? So you have lots of different ways to be able to use these tools in your project. And ideally, what will happen is local memory will kind of fade into the background, and it will just allow your agent to just remember things about your project, things that you don't even think about. So for example, when I need to prep, package, and deploy a release, it'll load up all the context using the agent harness. And part of the agent harness now is it will look in local memory for decisions and kind of patterns that we use, right? So it knows which repository to push the releases to. It knows which commands to use automatically just by pulling back those memories. So it streamlines your project so you don't have so much stuff in it, but it also allows your agent a lot of flexibility to be able to pull memories back and get the exact context it needs. And you can ideally stay within that 30-45% context usage to get your work done. So hopefully this helps. I'm gonna do more videos on more commands and more use cases around local memory. But this has been a game changer for me, and it's been a game changer for others who use it right now. So if you have any questions, go to localmemory.co. Ask me or ask any of the other members in the Discord what they're, how they use it, what their thoughts are, and they'll happily respond to it. And I'll happily respond to any questions you have around usage as well. Again, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching, and talk to you later.